Welcome back, my dear friends. Welcome back, everybody who is just stopping by or coming back to have a conversation. Oh my gosh, I have some very weird and heart wrenching updates. The topic of today is brave Ukrainian soldiers, men who are giving the ultimate sacrifice for their country, are really less than human in every way possibly imaginable. I really prefer listening to sources of information, not so much to the opinions and not so much to the news outlets, but I like finding raw materials, things and tapes and stuff like things like that. So um, today, a few hours back, I found a video that had audio recordings of people who supply food, medication, and other things for the army, for the Ukrainian army, for the men who are there in the trenches, who are just fighting with the evil of this world, right? And let me tell you, these things, oh, I'm so sorry. The things that I've heard in that recording, I don't know if this will be available for American media at all. Probably, I think probably, but this was completely in Ukrainian. I was thinking to post it on my Patreon, but it's all of it is in Ukrainian and not official Ukrainian, but kind of like a dialect. So it's kind of hard to understand, hard to understand what it is. But long story short, what I've heard in there just chilled my blood. So basically, the suppliers of food were making deals. How they going to, uh, how they gonna deliver meat and other groceries, other things to the people, to the people who are, to the soldiers in particular. And so I just, there were two, it was a conversation between the government and food supplier. And they were asking to mix meat with water so water has more, so meat has more weight. For all the millions and billions of dollars that Ukraine received in help that we supposed to use for protection, the supplier is telling the government the way they're gonna launder the money is they're gonna to put lots of water in that meat so it has more weight. And the other solution was for the grounded meat to add half of that in fat. Just use useless fat that is just to make more volume of meat that will go to the soldiers. Just add those things that are a lot less valuable but will create so much more so much more, it will be cheaper and heavier. And for those of you guys who have been telling me that I'm unfair, that Ukraine is fighting, that Zelensky is a great leader, honestly, just that alone, not even the human sacrifice that happens daily, but just that alone, it really chilled my blood. So the way they were talking about army in that phone call, it was like they were sending this to pigs. It was like they were sending this to some dirty animals that are the least of their concern, the least important. It's not the man on whose shoulders right now Ukraine is still standing, barely but standing. These are not the heroes, these are not the men that we respect. The whole world should really respect just for their sacrifice, for their bravery. basically, these are just some useless people that most likely are going to get hurt, lose their lives anyway. So, why bother? Why bother to give them decent food at least that they can eat? Why bother give them real meat and in its real weight when you can just give them, you can just fill meat with water, or add for the ground meat, just add half of it in fat so they can launder the money and give him half of the nutrition that they're supposed to get. And this is just such a significant detail and such a proof to everything that's been going on. The corruption at every stage, it's like it's a cancer. It's like cancer to society. In I feel that the enemy within in Ukraine, the what the people are dealing with now, I don't even know what is more vicious, the enemy within or the enemy on the outside. Because there is a way to prevent this human sacrifice. There is a way to is to prevent all of this. There is a way to negotiate. There is a way to come forward and apply yourself for the leaders to stop. One of the reasons why they do not stop it is because they know that the worse it gets. I am mortified to say this, but more children die. It's good for the government, for the corrupt Ukrainian government, because when this happens, people get emotional, and they, as they are getting paid, they getting their donation that they will not give to people in need. They will not give this donation to actually supply good food for the fighters, to help the children, to protect, to build shelters, to do what's required. They're going to get themselves more properties, they're going to get themselves more things, and they will send the literally watered down meat to the soldiers. And they're going to, the way the conversation was, that the leak conversation between, once again, the government and food supplier, they really, once again, talked about the army and the soldiers, like, basically, why to give them good nutrients, why to give them good things, they're going to die anyway. Why to comfort them, why to give them something that they can eat and recover the strength, so they can be stronger when they fight, when they are in absolutely uneven fight. On my channel, a lot of people, when I talk about things, um, a lot of people, I start to get the critics again, talking about that, I'm making fun of men and this, that, and the other. I don't make fun of men. There are men who making fun of themselves, that denying the very nature of a man being protective and being strong. And I have nothing but respect for the men that I don't even know, that standing there, while you and I are sitting on a couch or doing something casually, they are probably right now with very little food or no food, in a rain or cold, and they have to fight very hard with their aggression on the outside, but they will also have to fight with extreme corruption and extreme abuse of their own people. And it's just so heartbreaking. I really hope that this information will go to some of the outlets in the United States. I hope that it will get translated, because it's heartbreaking to know that in your own country the people are getting set up. The money laundering is going right in front of the world. And well, maybe it's somewhat hidden, maybe not everyone knows these details, but that conversation was so extremely casual. They were just trying to see how they can make couple more dollars out of skipping on the food and needs and nutrients for the people in the army, for the men mostly, who are carrying once again on their shoulders the weight of this world, the aftermath of losers uh, in power, such as Zelensky and other blood hungry maniacs. And so, yes, I don't know, I feel the devastation, and I feel so much empathy for these men. I think that very least they want, the very least they would expect, it's their own government honor their sacrifice, their service, and at least that they could have the bare minimum is food, that they don't have to have protective vest with a tape, and they can have decent conditions even if they never come back, that at least they can be treated well, even animals that are gonna go for slaughter, when they are growing, they are treated well, I am so I'm so devastated about this, and just want to share with you. I don't know if I'm going to keep these videos on my channel for a long time, but a lot of you have been reaching out to me and asking about this. I really want to just talk about, love and relationships and different interesting psychological aspects of life and observations and cultural differences. But somebody wrote today a comment that something about men being victims, and I'm thinking this is just such a first world problems. The real men right now, they are not worried about um, the small things. They are trying to withstand the very uneven battle. Have a disrespectful comment, and I know all my mods are not knowing. I usually try to come a lot earlier, but I was not able. Hey, Elizabeth, thanks so much. Yes, we have some people that don't know manners. Thank you. Hey, Stan, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I know it's a little bit late. I'm just so occupied, but this is really a message in my heart. I don't know if you were able to listen, if any of you guys were able to listen to this. I was just in such a shock, listening to the I was in such a shock listening to these tapes. I can, I guess I can post them on some of my social media, but honestly, you would not be able to understand, because even if you use a translator, they don't use like a real Russian or real Ukrainian. It's just Surzhyk. It's like a dialect. It's a mix of languages, which you really have to, you really have to be from Ukraine to understand that language. But the way the suppliers of produce were talking to the government, just so they were talking about it like it's so unimportant, and it's just such a, it's like, they would rather take a nap and nap a little bit, but they kind of have to solve this issue. So I guess, like manana kind of attitude. Call me tomorrow, okay, oh yeah, we need to bring this ground beef. Yeah, just mix it with fat. So they were trying to figure out what profit they could make out of cheating people that are given their life. They were very concerned if they could make what is the best way to make profit out of that meat, watering it down or adding some fat to it so it weighs more. And in the process of that conversation, they were telling that what the supplier said that one of the places refused to take this meat, so they sent it to a military camp, and it was so bad that the person who was managing that said, okay, we're not gonna take this because they have to report for everything that they take, and the meat was watered down so badly that they refused to take. And guess what the government official says? They say, you know what, I know somebody I can talk to. So basically what he meant is that, oh, they're going to take it, I'm gonna make a phone call and they're gonna take that awful meat, so-called meat, not even the real meat. So that's what we are working with. I think that I feel that just such a major betrayal. uh I refuse to believe in all of this, and it's really, really painful to see and witness this reality. Uh, yes, welcome, welcome, whoever is joining now. So, yeah, we are dealing with corruption. I feel like corruption is like this cancer, and certain countries have so much talent, so much bravery, such bright people, but the corruption is like, the cancer that is just taking over the organism, taking over the body of the country, and it's next to impossible to thrive. It's next to impossible to develop, to grow, and I just find it devastating. I honestly think that it's just, even for the person that was born and grew up in Ukraine, I refuse to believe in this. I would like to hear your thoughts, those who were able to hear my conversation from the beginning, maybe on this live. Uh, if you have something to say, I'm glad I can see comments right now. Thank you for joining. I appreciate if you come in, if you enjoy the conversation, hit the like button. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I really, really, really can't wait till all of this is over and we can just talk about love and light. The I can share with you more the more insights and more interesting things. But my heart is bleeding, and I just, in a way, it's also an outlet for me. But some of my subscribers reaching out to me and try to support the channel and seem to be interested in what is going on behind the scenes. I really don't care so much listening to politician predictions and perspectives. I prefer listening and observing the facts and the events. Um, I really wish that there was an power force organization that could take the children, all the children, out of the war zones. And I'm starting to see the evil more and more, with because with time the help slows down, with time the donations slow down, and each time there is a devastating occasion, like a playground gets hit or children get hurt or hospital get hit, people still there are still kind people and they get emotional and they want to help. And this is where the corrupt organizations are, and funds, so it's supposed to be for people, are making money again. So that's why, um, they're not trying to stop anything, you know. And just I don't know. I wish that no child has to go through this and see this and destroy their nervous system, destroy their view of the world. You know how impressionable little children are and how scary that is and devastating. There were events in Kryvyi Rih, which is actually the native city for Zelensky, and the missile, the I guess part of it hit the playground. Maybe you've heard about it. There are so many children, the entire families, you know, children, siblings are no longer here. And you know, Zelensky doesn't care about trying to negotiate and say, okay, how about we don't hit civilians anymore? You know, how about we leave civilians alone? The reason why he's agreeing for infrastructure to be slowed down is because he knows that if Ukraine would going to be blackout in Ukraine, he will lose his rating. He will lose his if Ukraine is in a blackout, Zelensky is going to be hurt. That's why he's worrying more about his image than the children, than the men on the front lines, what they eat and how they sustain themselves, but also about children. You know, why to worry about children? Why bother? This makes people emotional. People send money this way. Why be concerned about that when you can just use this manipulation to get paid, using the tragedy, you know, the absolute tragedy to fill up your pockets. The biggest fear that he has is that he will be prosecuted, that he will be removed from power. That's why he's trying to please everybody, you know. And this is at least that's what I see. That's how it appears. And that's what also my friends are telling me. You know, I have a friend that really want to come on and share thoughts, and she's afraid. She wants to come on a live, but she's afraid because she doesn't speak English well. So she would have to speak Russian or Ukrainian, and I would translate. And she's like, you know, I really don't know if I can come because I don't want to be prosecuted, and I definitely do not want to set up anything to hurt a friend. You know, that's not the plan. You know, so I don't know. Maybe I will do it for just for the Patreon or you know my coffee site or whatever. So um, it just would stay. You know, it will just stay. Behind the scenes. But you know, I really thank you, Elizabeth. I really can't wait. You know, I'm gonna try to mix the videos. I know it's probably terrible for my algorithm, but I might try to mix the videos, you know, still give you insights. I know still a lot of men who are watching me uh, learning things about Eastern European culture and trying to understand it. And a lot of men are looking for their relationship support, their, you know, they want to have some insights and things. So maybe I can mix and match um, for a little bit, hopefully that despite of all of this, I'm hoping that we still have a chance that certain people would be forced to stop, and there would be a passed over the peace. I'm really hoping so. But I just want you to know, if you're on the fence, this is not even political. I think that any leader of the country should honor its warriors. I don't know if you realize this, but there is no official war legally in Ukraine. This way, Ukrainian government will not pay those families who lost their husbands, fathers, sons. So they literally do not they don't call I think it's martial law in English. So they try to scam and hurt and use and betray their own people, their heroes, their people, those people who are still standing, civilians who are trying to go to work, who are still trying to raise their children in these conditions. They're just trying to rob people from every way possible. And it's just so very devastating. My friend who is considering, I don't know if we will be able to come on public, she's been telling me about the insane how you call it, about the insanity of taxes, that they try to tax air. She said the next thing they're gonna tax is air, because they have been taxing and taxing and taxing anybody who's trying to maintain their business, like small business, just like little trades. They want every single dollar. They want, if you sell your used clothes, you need to pay taxes. If you receive money on your account, you need to take taxes, even if maybe you are working on a project and you renovating an apartment, so a client send you an amount of money, that's not your profit. This is money for you to buy material. They want to tax that. For me, I wish I would have more opportunity to help people who are trying to make it, but um, I have a friend, a how to say this, um, manufacturer, I guess. Some of you know that I have an online shop. I sell beautiful, glamorous women's clothes, and some of that is vintage, and some of that is new and uh, very classy, but new and made to order. And one of my manufacturers live in Kharkiv, and the way I help is just I try to make some orders so I can bring some beautiful things for my clients through my Etsy shop. But honestly, the real reason why I'm making those orders, even if it's not a good time for me to make it, is because I'm just trying to support somebody who is surviving no matter what, surviving, producing. Some of you guys have seen my pink furs and like red furs and all these elegant outfits. Some of them I made in Ukraine under the freaking missile attacks. But I do not donate anything to official funds because I know that people will never see that. I just know that people will never see a dime from those funds, unfortunately, because after the millions and billions of dollars that the army had gotten, they are receiving watered down meat. So, yes, that's something that I want to share with you, my dear friends. I wish it would be something more uplifting. But this channel, for those who are new and trying to figure out, we don't, we talk about modern things and modern tendencies, but, somebody wrote a comment today. I'm gonna read your comments, by the way, so please write your thoughts. But somebody wrote a comment today telling me that living in the West, no, something like living in the West messed up my mind, and that I don't appreciate men or something like this. And I was thinking, it's not that I don't appreciate men. In Eastern European culture, we don't look at men that they need us to baby them, that they need us to treat them like they are little sons or our little brothers. Our men would not take that. nobody is ideal. We have our issues and our cultural things, but I could never dream to talk to a man, uh, especially masculine man who is protecting his country, his family, his land. I can never talk to him like he's a little boy. And I think in United States versus modern culture, um, you know how they say first world problems. They are Men are getting in their emotions and they are upset about certain women, and men forget that we are responsible for our choices. We have variety of people, right? We have variety of mindsets and cultures. So um, I think that the whole society need to have a reboot. But this is not the channel where I trash men or anything like that. If anything, we show honor and respect for those men who are true heroes, who are um, doing their ultimate, giving their ultimate sacrifice. But also on my channel, I dedicated so many years of my life helping smart, um, educated, strong, solid character men to secure a woman, because a lot of times the best men, the smartest, the most reliable and honest men just don't understand how to navigate certain fields, and especially how to navigate another culture. So for those who is just joining or maybe stopping by the channel, I've been helping men to understand the uh, Eastern European mindset of women, because there are men who are considering um, more classic relationships, who still like gender roles, who take pride in being providers and protectors. And therefore, I have been making my videos helping men to understand women's mindset and the way we see things. Eastern European women always um, have respect for men who take pride in their masculinity in every aspect. If I could sum it up, that would be that. You are welcome to share your thoughts, guys, unless you are already asleep. I hope not. I hope you are not asleep. Hello, Aaron. Hello, Dan. Veronica, headband on point once again. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sensitive subject, much respect. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. Good to see you, Aaron, again. Elizabeth, thank you for working through your sleep. Hello, Stan. Let's see. Yes, I really wanted to come earlier today. I know that many people are writing that they're not getting my notifications, and I don't know why. I wish I would know why, but I don't. All right. I don't know if Stan, could you please drop, because Elizabeth needs to sleep, need to get some rest. Could you drop some of my links how people can find me? Yes, I'm still doing my coaching. I'm still working with people behind the scenes, and I hope soon we can forget all the painful and devastating war topics and just focus on love in all the ways. Please share your thoughts, and maybe you have any questions. Yeah, I don't know if you follow me. If you follow me on Instagram, I received my package today from my supplier, manufacturer from Ukraine. Maybe I'll do a like review tomorrow on my Instagram for the ladies who are watching me, who always complimenting me on my style and makeup and lipstick and clothes. When I do those kinds of things, it's a moment when I don't think about all the crap that happening in this world. Just 1 second, guys. Let me see something. Yeah, I don't know, Elizabeth or Stan or whoever is not asleep, if you can drop some of my links. I really appreciate your support a lot. But one of the simple ways how you can support the channel is simply putting a like, sharing the video, writing your thoughts. All of this is free, and all of this is extremely helpful. Let me make sure I'm not gonna make sound. I don't know where Jason is. Jason, I hope you are doing really well. Maybe you're gonna watch in a recording. Okay. I don't know why I'm not getting the. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna look at the comments here. I cannot see them on this screen, but I can see them here. Let me read your comments. Thank you guys so much for commenting. I really appreciate you. Okay, let's see. Hello, Jeff. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. If you enjoy my videos and you want to support the channel, you can see some links. You can also send me requests, or if you need my coaching, my help regarding Eastern European women, you can see my email. All right. Aaron is saying, Veronica, I can hear the unhappiness in your voice. I agree with your points of view. I'm saddened by the war and the taxes on the Ukrainian people. People are suffering from the war consequences. Yes, and I don't know if you've watched the video from the beginning. I was sharing some things in particular. The once again, my biggest pain right now is not just the outer enemy, but it's the corruption cancer that's eating the country alive, that is having the audacity to mistreat and abuse people that given their life literally every single day, that holding the fort, and they are letting those people being mistreated, not even mentioned being thrown in a in fire, but stealing, even daring to steal the very necessities from those people. How this country can win, please tell me. I feel like it's just such a contrast between the heroic people who withstand all these storms and trying to survive, the civilians and the soldiers, and then people who make an ungodly amounts of money and they want for the war to keep going. They just want for it to keep going so they can gain. It really reminds me, when I was in school, there was this Palestinian leader, Arafat, Yasser Arafat. And I remember, I studied international relationships in school, different aspects. And I remember learning about this conflict. And I just realized that this person does not want agreements. They offered so many ways of having peace between Palestine and Israel back then, some years ago. And I realized this Yasser Arafat had such a horrible strategy for his own people. His way of making money is going around with a hat, like when the street artists perform, and then they go around with a hat. See, for some donations, right? And when I looked at Yasser Arafat, he just, the Palestinian leader back then, that's what he did. And I just, I just could not digest this in my mind, that somebody could do this to their country while the people are sacrificed, but they would not fix, would not take any offers, would not take peace. I could not stomach that. But now I see the second example of this, and another example of this, that instead of doing your best and trying to crawl out of your skin to stop all this, no, you see it as a way of income, of bottomless income. It's devastating to me, yes. Thank you, Stan. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Thank you. I've been also looking for next stream. Just caught this by chance. Happy about that. Love your perspective and honesty. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping. I'm really looking for the streams that would be a lot more, insightful and fun, and I'm gonna mix them up. I know it's probably bad for my algorithm, but that's okay. Um, I just have to follow my heart. I cannot exist otherwise. And I want to say special thank you to, let's see, Stan, Elizabeth, who else I have. Thank you guys so very much for supporting me on my coffee side. It just lets me know that you do enjoy my streams, and I'm hoping to have only interesting and insightful and helpful topics and conversations sooner than later. Um, and just forget about all of this like a bad dream. But thank you so very much. Hopefully, my channel will get on a good side of YouTube soon enough. I really hope so. But regardless of that, I really appreciate you. Oh. Elizabeth, thank you. Thank you for blocking. Oh my goodness. Some people have the weirdest nicknames. Somebody says, "Hi, have a blessed day." Same to you. It's night, but yes. Vam. I don't know. I cannot read most of the names. Hi, Lance. Welcome. Yeah. Yeah, guys. So yeah, that's what we get. That's what we get. I think it's hard enough to fight against the enemy, to fight against the aggressor, fight against somebody who wants your land, who wants your blood, who wants you destroyed on the outside, and it's hell of hard. It's probably, I don't know, if I think it's even harder to find an enemy within that is disrupting you within. I can't even imagine this. I feel so awful for the people who left, who are trying to survive. I don't know about you. I have so much anxiety. I could never stay and have family, children, elderly, like in the war. I could never. I could never imagine doing that. A lot of people in Ukraine, they don't want to leave their homes. They don't want to gift their apartments to the enemy. I don't know about you, and it's hard to know what we would do. It's really hard to know unless, but I'm such an anxious person when it comes to this kind of terror. I feel that I would probably just um, have to save the family and leave. Even if you leave into nowhere, just start over. Because, the terror of losing somebody, when I hear those news, when I don't watch the actual news when they show the families, the children. I cannot watch that. I don't know if you have that as well, but those things, they just would haunt me for days, for months, for years probably, so I can't look in their eyes, I can't do that. But there is definitely awareness, and I really hope that there is end to this, and that the corrupt government, the men who failed to protect their countries, that they will be just absolutely forced to stop it. I really, really hope for that. Yeah, they making men disposable, which men are not disposable. Human are not disposable. That's one thing in this world that should be treasured, and that hurts. Yes, DVC. Mods showing up in force. Yes. Oh, it's okay. I appreciate the work, but I just, it's very unpleasant when you talk about something. My favorite is when you talk about something, you pour your heart out, and somebody comes to the stream and like, what are you talking about? Like, like a total retard. It's like when you watch TV, you put a program, you open TV. I don't have TV, but let's say I watch YouTube video or something, or a movie, or I'm visiting somebody and they're watching something on TV or program or a movie. You don't ask the movie. So, actually, what is this about? I don't understand. Like, just close your mouth, open your ears, and listen. Maybe it's not your topic. Maybe it is like Chinese to you because you have no idea, what is going on. But how how retarded is this when you're showing up, somebody already having a conversation, and you're like, um, I was just wondering, like, what this is about? What is this about? It's just like, seriously, when you went to college, or you went to, you were in school and you were late to the class, did you just interrupt everybody, like, and ask a stupid question? I don't know. I don't know. That this makes me never want to make another live video when this happens. I'm like, there's no way that people could ask such questions. Yeah, man. Yeah, I was sharing earlier today, guys. I hopped on a live today. Wait, I'm sorry. I need this. I need this because I can see questions better here. So yeah, I was on live earlier today, just sharing some experiences. Uh, s- some thoughts earlier on some completely different situation. Yeah, ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer. I mean, I don't know. It's just it can be discouraging sometimes, but that's okay. Yeah, probably not the best topic for the night, but at the same time, I know a lot of people think that um the Ukrainian leader is answer to all, that he's such a hero. But, the level of corruption and the level of crime that's going on inside against its own people, it's shocking even for me. And I literally was I was born and raised there. It's mind blowing even for me. I refuse to believe in this. And I just feel that, I can do my best to share things. Yes, I may not have the largest audience, but I feel that it's an outlet to let people know, to not become prey, to not, if you want to help somebody, if you have a couple of dollars, you want to uh, support somebody, support a particular person, support a particular, for example, I have a couple of families that I know, and couple of people that I help, some of my friends help, right? It's particular people that are living there and surviving. There are some, as I said, for my other business, I have a manufacturing contract with a person, and I don't even know how she can create beauty under the missiles. I don't know, but she's actually considering leaving, and I support her 1,000,000%. Hopefully coming back after a couple of months, but I would not wish this to my worst enemy, to have to live in a daily attack, daily survival. But you can do something good. I'm making these videos because I don't, you if you have somebody in Ukraine, if you want to do something for someone, just ask particular people that you know and trust, and they will help who they can help. um i I'm against supporting the criminal person that sacrifice its own people. I just don't think it's fair. I don't think that is a good idea. Yes, helping particular people. Yes, there are organizations, small organizations and people that is you know um that you just know that you're actually making a difference. There are plenty of people that you can help personally, if you want to, if you feel like doing that. Yes. So yes, my dear friends. Well, hopefully you were able to understand my main message in this video. I think it's so extremely heartbreaking, so unfair, so uncalled for. There is no reason in the world why men on the front lines should be asking for donations to buy themselves socks and underwear. There is no reason in the world why they should get watered down meat, um, or not have enough of nutrients, to sustain themselves. Why they should, my friend's brother sent her a photo. He's in the West. I think I talked about that before. He's wearing a vest, and vest is holding by the tape. It's a bulletproof vest, and it stays on with the help of the duct tape. There is no reason in the world, after all the money that were donated, this war should have been won already. Everybody should have been pushed out, and the government that humiliates its own heroes stands no chance. And it's painful for me to say that, for more reasons than one, but I just want to use this as an outlet. I don't care if 5 people learn something or understand something, or 10 people, or however many. I just want you to know that this is a very complex situation, because the evil is rotting the country inside. The evil, cancerous, corruption government is preventing the country from going into the right direction, from resolving these issues, making agreements, and starting to heal. The this cancer is overwhelming. And I do have strong faith that this will be resolved, because thank God there are leaders and powerful people who do not want this to continue. So we have to keep the faith. And um, in this world where masculinity and femininity too, because they're all interconnected, rapidly declining by because of so many aspects, there are still true heroes that are taking all the pain, that are giving the sacrifice. And I just don't want that to be forgotten. We have to. I know a lot of people. Ukraine really lost its admiration, for the bravery because of the corrupt government. But we really need to remember that government is completely separate from the people, especially from the heroic people that have been carrying this and holding the fort. These are completely two different groups. They are the opposites of each other. But I feel like this unites most countries that have corrupt governments. But anyway, it's another reminder that there are definitely true heroes in nowadays. And um, we all should have more pride with the things that we are doing. I made an earlier video today, was talking just about some casual situations, and that, you know, we should have more pride in ourselves, in a positive way, in in a way of self-respect. If you want to understand what I'm talking about, you can watch my previous live today. All right, my dear friends. I am, yes, Elizabeth. Good night. Yes, we are wrapping it up. Thank you so much, whoever stayed for me with me that long. Thank you so very much. And I'm looking forward for much more delightful and uplifting topics. But sometimes we don't get to choose. Have a good night. Thank you everybody for joining the live. Thank you for your kind words, and I will see you very soon. Please don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you.